Got it.
And we shall see if we are going to go live in a second. Hopefully that should be working in the background. I can see Facebook is trying to make that happen for us. It is not there yet. We are pending. So I will just make sure that we are sharing this now into VSGD Careers, because that is a group full of people that want to see this. So let's have a look. Bear with me.
Yep, all good.
Oh, how are you today, Ruth?
I am fab. It's a Friday. I don't know about you, but it's been a long week, so I'm really looking forward to the weekend.
Oh my God. Yes, the weekend. Let's see. I am just in the background. Let's get this shared to VSGD. This is where I need a tech team.
We're
It's
getting a really nice day as well today, actually. It's been proper sunny. So, well, here, but it keeps threatening to rain, but it's really nice.
I believe we are due a heat wave shortly as well. So
I never knew this.
Apparently, but don't they give us a heat wave every year? Haven't we always told us a heat wave on the way? Isn't that just how British weather works?
So true. There's literally about a day where we have it and it's like, yep, that was your heat wave. That's done.
Oh, isn't it just? And we're like, that was British summer. So, right, we should be live into VSGD as well now. So hello, everybody in VSGD Careers, as well as everyone that's joining us on the VetYou platform as well. We've got all our tech under control. So thanks for joining us. If you've jumped in with us too, we will keep an eye on any questions that come through. We'll jump in, we'll answer those. If there are any that slip through the net, we can go back and we can look at those as well for you. So if you're watching on the replay, still ask them, we can still answer. And remember, we're always here at hello@vetyou.co.uk. So we're just going to jump in really quickly and do a 15-minute snippet on a very important topic that really is at the core of what we talk about a lot at VetYou, and that is income protection. So I'm really thrilled to be joined by one of the fantastic financial advisors that we work with very frequently at VetYou, that has spoken to hundreds of veterinary surgeons, veterinary nurses, practice managers, members of this profession, and helped them to find policies that suit them and to get a better grip on their finances, whatever their financial plan might look like. So we're going to dive straight in. Otherwise, we can be doing an introduction all day. And Ruth, I'm going to ask you just to start with, because a lot of people might know what it is, but we might still have some people out there that don't. What is income protection?
Brilliant question. So income protection can help provide, as it says, an income in case you are sick and unable to work and bring home that income. So important to just make sure that, you know, your salary is protected just in case anything happens because of sickness or disability.
And it's obviously so relevant in this profession as well, because we work with animals that kick and bite and scratch. And it's not just that, is it? You've seen people where they've fallen over a curb, or there's been, God forbid, an accident on the way to work. Like, yes, as much as we are in quite a high risk profession, really. So it just makes sense to make this at the top of our agenda and something to pay attention to, doesn't it?
Absolutely, 100%. So like you've said, I've dealt with over 200 people, veterinarians within the industry, and I've heard it all. I've had people that have come to me and say, like they've fallen off their horse and they've broken their wrist. Or I had someone recently this week say that they were walking their dog and they fell down a ravine, and they've had to have their wrist plated and they've been off work. I've had someone as well that has had accidents. I've had a couple of people on their way to work, just in a car. You just don't know what's going to happen. So don't think that it's never going to happen to you, because trust me, the same thing comes up time and time again. I wish I'd have got protection years ago.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about this so much, because so many people that we know discover it after the horse has bolted and they go, oh my God, I wish I knew that income protection existed, because so many jobs and contracts will have SSP, which is statutory sick pay, but they won't have any further cover than that. And when you look at how much that is, it's not very much to look after you if something did happen. And like, side note, I was put out of action for a month in May by bending down and picking something up, which was completely off my radar. So yes, income protection sounds like something we should all be paying attention to. So you said, Ruth, that we get money essentially that covers our income if we are unexpectedly sick, injured, whatever happened to us. We've mentioned a few examples there. Like, how much do you get and when does that start to kick in?
So the absolute maximum that you can get is up to 60% of your salary. And this is because, as I laugh and joke about this, if it was offering 100%, there'd be no incentive for anyone to go back to work. So the maximum you're able to cover is up to 60%. And obviously, if it's less than 60, then that's when the premiums, also known as the amount that you'll pay per month for the policy, will go down in accordance to the percentage that you want. So a lower percentage, usually the lower the cost. And to answer your question about when does it kick in, it can kick in on day one of your injury if you want it to, or it can kick in after a couple of weeks, a month, 2 months, because some people who are employed might have a protection policy with their company that insure them for 2 weeks, but not after. So we can have it to kick in after the 2 weeks. Or if someone has some spare emergency funds, they're able to cover their salary for a certain amount of time. It can make it cheaper the longer, as we call it, the deferral period for when it's accessed. So it all comes down to affordability, but there's all kinds of options for everybody.
And presumably when it kicks in has an effect on the premium as well.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. So the sooner it kicks in, then the higher the amount that you might pay per month. Whereas the longer you can go, then the lower the amount it would be, because obviously you can afford to wait a period of time and cover your salary before it comes in.
And what a peace of mind it gives you. I mean, obviously being a part of VetYou, I've got income protection, and just knowing that, okay, if one of these unexpected things does happen, that income is covered. And one of the things we do bang on a lot about at VetYou is us getting a grasp on, like, what are our incomings, what are our outgoings, what are our fixed costs, what are our variable costs. And Ruth has provided a fantastic resource for going through your incomings and your outgoings and just working out, like, what does it cost me per month? And that might be something that's worthwhile for people to go out and do. Again, we'll pop some resources below in the chat after we finish this, because then you can look at, okay, maybe what I need to live is 40% of my income. And that might give you an idea when you come in to chat with Ruth as well. So we'll go into that more shortly. But one of the things that surprised me actually was that there are different, I don't call it levels of cover, but types of cover in income protection, dependent on whether you're being covered for still being able to do your job as a veterinary surgeon or as a veterinary nurse, or whether you just can't work at all. So I wondered if you could explain a little bit more about that for people as well, Ruth.
Absolutely. So once again, not only do you have the level of cover that you're able to alter according to affordability, but you've also got things like the most comprehensive cover you can get is something called an own occupation definition. And as it says, it will cover you if you cannot do your specific role. There's also something called suited occupation. So first of all, own occupation will be the most expensive because it's just your role if you're unable to do. Suited occupation means that, say for instance, you're a veterinary nurse, but you can't do your job. You could go in to the office to just purely make the tea and coffee. Then that can be something that you could go back to work for. So the income protection might not pay out in that case because you are able to do something that is suited. Or if you're a veterinary surgeon, you might be able to go and lecture on something. So you're still able to do something suited to your occupation. And the final one is something called any occupation at all, then you're able to go in and do that and you'll be covered for it. So it's only if you're literally not able to get up and go to work that the protection would pay out. But own occupation is the most comprehensive.
And it's so interesting, isn't it? And again, testament to why it's worth talking through these policies with a professional so that you know what you're being covered for and at what level as well, because it'd be quite a surprise if you realize that it was not what you were quite expecting it to be. So thank you so much for explaining the difference between those, Ruth. And I think this is a question that's probably quite difficult for you to answer, but a lot of people ask us anyway. But do you have any ballpark idea of what people should be expecting costing wise for policies? I mean, we're realistic. We know we work it a lot of the time in pet insurance. We know that there can be policies that range from like all singing, all dancing, pushing up the higher end of the scale to ones that people have gone and bought online for a few pounds. But if someone was getting a policy maybe through you that was fit for purpose, like what would be the ballpark rough price range, or is that impossible?
It's near impossible to answer because it depends on the age of the person, because usually the younger you are, you take it out, the cheaper it will be, because a lot of younger people won't have as many medical issues, so it's a lot cheaper for the provider to put this income protection in place. It also depends on past medical history. So as we know, no two people are ever the same. So have you had any injuries previously? Have you had any operations? Is there any family medical history? Now, it doesn't matter if there is at all. We can still get cover, but it just means that it might be an exclusion on the policy for that specific thing, or it might be that it will include it, but the price you pay per month, also known as the premium, might go up to cover it. So no two people are ever the same, but usually I will say the sooner you take out the policy, as in age wise, usually the cheaper it is, and you can lock that payment in.
So new graduates, listen up, take the action that I wish I'd taken when I graduated. And you answered really nicely, actually, what was going to be one of my next questions about pre-existing conditions. But just to signpost everyone that we did do some sessions with the British Veterinary Chronic Illness Support Charity on this very topic about chronic illness and finances. And we did a whole section on income protection and how it is possible to get these policies and how valuable it is to have a financial advisor like Ruth in your corner that can speak to the underwriters, that can really push your case forward. And we also talk through a few things that we can bear in mind if we can't get a policy for whatever reason. So after this, I will pop the links so that you can catch up on those sessions and go and revisit that, because it's a really powerful 45 minutes that we did just on that topic. So please do take the opportunity to dive in if that is you, because I know so many people out there do worry about that. We see it coming up time and time again in the forums as well. So we've kind of alluded to this throughout as well, Ruth, but I know we're in a society now where everybody wants things quick. You know, we want to go and take out our pet insurance. We head to whichever pet insurance we'd like to use.com. We put in our details, we click, and we've done it in 10 minutes. At the same time, we really do push for people looking at their individual circumstances and working with financial professionals to get policies that suit them. Can you tell us some of the advantages of working with a financial advisor over just heading to Google, putting income protection and trying to find a policy within the next few minutes?
If you've got someone fighting your corner, I'm really proud to shout about what I do, because I do a lot of the legwork for you. So initially you do a fact find where we go through lots of different, like, your circumstances specific to you. And we go through everything, because we work with a carefully selected panel of providers that we know offer a great service, have great terms, include certain benefits for clients. And what we do is get on the phone to them and fight your corner and say, okay, there's this policy. So we use all these different providers and compare them to find out who's going to be the best for you, for price, for benefits, for everything. And also, lots of people, I mean, I'm not going to tar all of them with the same brush, but often what can happen is you'll go online, you'll type in Google, a provider will pop up, you'll go through all of that, and they will be quick to take your money every single month. But unfortunately, I've heard too many times where something has happened and people have come to claim, and then obviously they've not paid out because they've said, oh, well, something happened in your medical history that you didn't disclose. If you go through a financial advisor, then you have, and especially through us, you've got the St. James's Place guarantee. So it guarantees the suitability of the advice that we give. So if we insure you for a certain amount, that's the right, that's the amount that is going to be paid, and we help you with that as well. So you've got someone fighting your corner, going through all of this on your behalf, and then helping simply put it in place. And you have a guaranteed specialist that you'll be put in touch with to help for this.
And what peace of mind that gives, because I mean, certainly I'm sure all the people that are watching this that work within this profession as well have had the situations where the loveliest pet owners in the world come in, they've got a policy that they've bought online that they think is all bells and whistles, all singing, all dancing, fantastic policy. And then we realize that actually there was a pre-existing condition that means that they're no longer covered here, or maybe the upper limit and what they're allowed to have isn't what they really expected it to be, or perhaps there's a longer cooling off period than any other policy. And actually having someone in your corner, like you said, that makes sure that that policy is really fit for purpose is massively reassuring. And I realize that obviously we miss out probably on that let's get it in the next 10 minutes piece, but it's like what it costs us to get that shorter time period could be that maybe it doesn't fit us, and actually having that time to invest with somebody that does have our best interests at heart and wants to take us through that, and again have that fantastic guarantee that it is going to pay out, I mean, is worth millions, really, when you think about it. So
absolutely. But the other thing as well is, I'll say, is, those terms and conditions you get that are usually about 50 pages long. Oh, I do love to look through those T's and C's. So I like to make sure that you are covered. Yeah. And that there's nothing in that. I really like to know, to go, right, well, on paragraph 1722, you said this, please confirm this. So we fight your corner because we like looking at that, so that kind of, we do that on your behalf and have a look and then explain it to you in a much more friendly version.
I love that. And again, that's why we're so passionate about connecting people with financial advisors like yourself that understand this profession too. And just finally, because we've actually at VetYou been working closely with you, Ruth, to try and fast track this process, because you all spoke, we listened. Sometimes when you've got underwriters and you've got processes in the background, it takes a few weeks to get these things through. So we've been looking really carefully at how can we speed this up? Yes, it's not going to be in half an hour because we've already talked about these things of making sure that we're doing all the background work properly. But could you tell us a little bit more about this fast-tracked process with the protection panel? And then I'll explain how people could take action with that if they wanted to learn a bit more.
Absolutely. So I work with a dedicated protection panel specialists. So what can happen is, if you don't need kind of an all-round view of, you don't want to have a look at the specifics of your circumstances, like, if you need a pensions combining or an individual savings account or something set up, then that's absolutely fine. You don't necessarily need to speak to me. So I can put you purely through for protection and to have a free complimentary protection health check with one of these dedicated specialists. And I'll say it again, complimentary, like protection health check, to look into everything for you so that you can understand about affordability. So you don't have to speak to a financial advisor like myself initially. We can put you, fast track you straight through to that team. And there's just a couple of little bits of information that we need to do that.
Amazing. And like we say, that just speeds it up in a busy world that we're in as well. So in terms of VetYou, if you did want to get in touch with Ruth, if you drop us an email, hello@vetyou.co.uk, and pop in the subject line, fast track income protection, we will email and introduce you to Ruth and also give you those details that we need. They're just basic details, but we've got a list of them that she can pass on then and chat with you and make sure that you're in touch with that protection panel, where I believe you'll be appointed your own sort of advisor, well, not advisor, but your own person that's in charge of you for that process as well. Is that right, Ruth?
Protection specialist, yeah, you'll have someone. All they do day in, day out is look on the system at the recent benefits that providers are offering, what the costs and the prices are, exclusions that could have been included. They're on the system day in and day out. So, these are the people that you're dealing with. Plus, you get another view because I oversee it as well, because I get to look and doubly make sure that it's the right thing for you. But you will have one dedicated protection specialist who helps you.
Amazing. We love that continuity. And again, the other thing is, if you do want to talk with Ruth about just your all-round financial plan and you're not really sure where to start, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Ruth will call a spade a spade. She will speak to you like a human. There's not going to be any jargon there. So we'll pop Ruth's Calendly link, and you'll also find some information about that fast track process on the Calendly link, a bit more about Ruth, how we work together as VetYou, and just general information so you can find a time slot that fits you. So just finally, if people did want to fast track that income protection process, I believe the first step, once you've put them in touch with the protection panel, is they get a phone call from that panel to arrange that 20-30 minute financial health check, just to find out where they're up to and start the ball rolling with the process. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's streamlined for you. Once I get the details through to be able to put the, put them through to the protection specialist, they'll get called from an 01737 number. The first call will take literally minutes because it's finding out when you're free to be able to just have that initial chat. And then you'll make a fact find meeting where they'll go through, chat to your circumstances, and then let us take care of the rest to come back and be able to provide you with the most suitable quotes for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ruth. This has been a fantastic Friday finance session. Yay. We have nearly stayed to time, which is incredible because I know we could talk on these things all day. Thank you so much for everyone that's been on or is watching the replay. If there's more questions that you've got, more information that you want, either pop them in the comments below or drop us an email at hello@vetyou.co.uk. I'll make sure that all the information that was spoken about is in the comments as well. And please do share this with your friends and colleagues, because we have heard so many people that learn about this too late and really wish that they knew that it existed. So let's try and raise some awareness. You've got someone that wants to fight your corner, that really does understand us as professionals, that cares very deeply as well about us too, and is here and happy to help guide you with the financial education that we really weren't given as we were growing up. So we hope you all have a lovely Friday, and we shall see you again next Friday when we'll be talking through another financial topic. So see you all later.
Have a great Friday. Bye.